Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Trip Smoke. But tonight we're talking to Nix Damon, author of the book Moira. How you doing tonight?
What'd you say on that?
How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm good. I'm doing good. Yeah. We've been not remodeling the house. I say that, but it feels like we should be just knocking down walls. But we've been moving furniture around, and all day long I've been working. So I'm finally sitting down for the first time, and it feels very nice.
Well, have you found anything fun on the walls you were knocking down? Like, you ever hear those stories where somebody knocks down a wall and then they like find like coins or like a skeleton or?
Yeah, no.
No.
Mostly so far it's just been like cockroaches, fun things like that. Texas has lovely large.
Well, you get the palmetto palm bugs down there too,
yeah.
where it's like a cockroach but it flies.
Yes, not pleasant.
Could be worse. Like, we had a lot of those in Florida, and it's like, oh, you think cockroaches are bad? You hit a tree the wrong way and they swarm?
Yeah.
No?
No, thank you. No.
Like, I'm not saying that's what, hell would be, but them on fire, which I'm sure has happened once, probably in Miami.
Yeah. I can see that.
Or Tallahassee. You're really just fucking anywhere in Florida. But
where have you lived in Florida? Because I've never been.
Jacksonville, so up north. It's like by the corner, like northeast, so right up by Georgia. I think there's like one county between us and Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then Jacksonville's land-wise largest city I'm not sure if it's in the U.S. or in North America. But it's like the whole seat of the county. So I mean, like people-wise, like obviously, you got like New York, Chicago, LA, right? But it takes you an hour to drive through downtown. So what are you gonna do? It's like Houston, but full of Florida men.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a big city.
Yeah. And you're up north in Texas, right?
Yeah, we're in the Metroplex in DFW. We're actually right between Dallas and Fort Worth. So they just call that mid-cities, and they're like, you're in the mid-cities, the middle cities inside the other big cities.
Yeah, I always think that's funny when it's like, because there's a lot of places like that, like Crystal City and Palm Springs, and there's like 4 other ones in California, and they're way outside of fucking Los Angeles. Well, you're originally from California, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So like Los Angeles, and they say, oh, we're in Simi Valley. It's like, that's Los Angeles. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. Like,
in there.
Don't stop. Like I think at a certain point, like when 2 cities grow and like their main part of the towns start touching, it's like, yeah, you guys are the same city now. I'm sorry.
There's not much difference anymore at that point. I lived in Santa Clarita down there, and when people asked where I was from, I'm like, LA. I mean, it's like in there, sort of.
that and if not, you have to explain where fucking whatever small town no one has ever heard of. And when I say small town, it's like, well, it's only got 500,000 people, so I mean,
Exactly.
There's only 47,000 stoplights.
I know, it's true. That's a California small town.
Yeah, well, I mean, like up north, you don't have, or you'll have like actual small towns, and then like out in the desert, but like who the fuck goes there?
Mm-mm.
I mean, I personally enjoyed living out towards like Joshua Tree, Yucca Valley, but like it's because there wasn't any traffic, and at worst, every once in a while, to deal with a meth head that might have been a fucking Wendigo or a fucking Bigfoot. Desert Yeti.
Yeah, let's no.
Oh yeah. So what made you move to Texas?
Well, I've migrated a bit. I started in California, and then I went to Oregon, and I lived there for a while, and then I moved to Ohio because I know it was for my husband. He lived there, and he was like, I don't want to leave Ohio. So I said, I guess I'll go to Ohio. So I did. And it was the most depressing 2 years of my life.
Yeah, when my parents got divorced, I got dragged up to Ohio. And the day I turned 18, I moved to Virginia to finish high school because I would be goddamned if I was going to graduate fucking high school in Ohio. Dude, I hate Ohio so much. There's a line, there's like a whole chapter in one of my books, I think it's the second one, where one of the dudes is from Ohio, and everyone else is talking about how they would rather sell themselves into fucking slavery than go back to Ohio.
That's the sentiment though. I've noticed there's two groups of people really. There's the people that stay there and they feel like everything's fine, our family's here, this is where we've always been. And then there's everybody else who says, yeah, but there's like a whole other world. There's a world out there that you can explore.
Yeah, and most of the people that like Ohio, and I'm saying like with quotes because it's more like Stockholm syndrome. The only other place they've been is Michigan, and it's like, well, I mean, Michigan's not that bad, but the bottom part of it where people from Ohio go, yeah, I can get that.
Yeah.
And it's Virginia, and there's nothing in West Virginia, so I mean, like you can say that Cleveland's better than that technically, just off of like, yeah, 1 is more than 0.
Yeah, sure, that's fine. Yeah. So I didn't. So I didn't last long there. And while I was there, I worked at a debt collection agency, and I am not a debt collector. And it was, even if it was soft negotiations, they'd be like, "Oh, you're the nicest debt collector I've ever talked to." I go, "Well, I hate my life because half of the people are cussing me out the second I call." So
that, and I kind of hate the people I'm working for, so I'm not trying too hard to get money out of you. No.
It was terrible. It was like, now I just have Ohio and debt collection agency in my head. So So we fled Ohio as soon as we got married. We left, and I took him to Texas because I had family here. And it was my brother and his wife, and they had their firstborn. So I said, we'll just stay here, and then I want to go to California from here. I just want to do like a stop in Texas and go to California. But then we soon realized we didn't have the money for that, to go start off on our own in California without family, friends. So
yeah, no, California's a weird place like that too. Like fucking, you have to like ease yourself into it. You have to like move to like Joshua Tree or Yucca Valley, where like the rent's still insane, but it's not like completely psychotic bonkers. And then work your way up till you can move to like a suburb of San Diego, maybe. And hop up to LA. Yeah,
it's tricky. And we're from more up north. Like, I actually grew up in Hollister, and so we were in the Bay Area, by the Monterey Bay. And so we spent our whole childhood there, and I thought, well, this will be fine. I'll just live here again. It would be a wonderful place to live, but it's not possible. And you have to both be software engineers or something. I don't know. So
yeah,
can't do that. And then we got pregnant, had kids here, and so I just decided, well, this is a great place. The longer we stayed, the more we realized Texas is literally the best state in America.
You mean the great nation? the longer state.
I think that's accurate. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it is funny though, because like every once in a while I'll go on a tangent, and just like I had a thing on TikTok about a month ago where I did like 50 videos, and each one was just saying "fuck you" if you're from whatever the state of the post was, you know. And most people were like, "Yeah, no, you're right about that." And there was like 5 or 6 comments, and then I got to Texas, and there was like 600 comments just telling me to go fucking kill myself. Like, did I trigger somebody?
Yeah, a couple people.
It's like, oh, you got that flag. It says, "Come take it." Well, I'm pretty sure they did. You guys know you lost the Alamo, right? Man, fuck you.
Yeah. Those are fighting words here. It's just, there's such an atmosphere here that I really am addicted to. There's something about, well, there's been a lot of migratory people, like where we live. Dallas is mostly a melting pot of other pieces of the nation, because it's like a safe spot for people to go, where they're like, it's not quite wilderness Texan. It's like, I don't know, domesticated Texan. And then Fort Worth is more on the cowboy side. And I like going down there because they're still good old boys, and I like both, but I don't know.
Well, the other thing that's funny about Texas too is if you go to Dallas, nowhere is Texas besides Dallas. But if you go to Houston, nowhere is Texas besides Houston. And if you go to like Austin, they hate Texas for some reason. But each city's like, no, this is Texas. The rest of them are a bunch of fucking posers. Right.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I know. Well, and I lived in Austin for a little while too, on the Round Rock, which was in Austin, but I lived out there. And it was a very interesting experience there too. They have a lot of mostly Californians live there, I think. So it reflects that culture, I guess.
Yeah.
Somewhat more hippie.
Is there a word for them yet? Because like in Florida, when all the I guess New Englanders come down, it's either either snowbirds or the geriatric community.
I don't know. I'm sure there is. I just haven't been made privy to it. I don't know. I'm still kind of an outcast, probably. I've been here, not outcast, but not accepted into the culture.
Well, I haven't heard you say y'all yet, and you haven't brandished a firearm, so.
That's true. I don't have a firearm.
So what's wrong with you? You're not assimilating properly.
I'm not.
Bram.
Well, I have 2 trucks, and well, that's about it. My kids are Texans. We'll give them guns.
So, anchor babies, got it. So speaking of that, though, I started being friends with you on Instagram because the whole indie author community. I read Moira, which I really enjoyed, but can you tell us a little bit more about it? Because what I got out of it is it's like Werewolf Peter Pan in the 90s.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Yeah. So I drew a lot of ideas from J.M. Barrie's Peter and Wendy, where Wendy, Moira Angela Darling, has a Neverland. So they call Neverland in the beginning, in the first couple chapters, is like your mind. And so whenever you go to sleep, you go to your Neverland to visit it. And so in it, she has a little wolf pup, an orphan. Sorry, the children are screaming.
We're talking about werewolves, so.
Yes. They're demonstrating. So she has an orphaned wolf pup that she raises. And so I named Peter Pan in my book Rafe, which means wolf. And I just kind of had that added in there. But yeah.
But Ravage doesn't mean hook, does it?
What? Oh, Ravage? No.
No. Dang.
That's because his backstory started developing pretty early on, where he was basically a caretaker of the earth, but then destroyed his whole world. So he named himself Ravage. He was like, that suits me better, because he was James.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, there was some really neat, I guess, like mental visuals, I got out of it, because there was that one scene where Moira was driving around and this pirate ship came out of the sky and started Sharknadoing wherever she was. Actually, where was she in the book again?
Yeah, she was in a stretch. She's in New Mexico, but it's not New Mexico. Yeah.
No, I do it all the time. It's I've never been to this place. I'm just going to write about it like it's this other place and throw in some stereotypes.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go with that. Well, and even I was going to use a real city, Silver City, but I changed it to Golder City. And I was like, this is another one, another New Mexico.
Alternate universe.
Exactly. It was supposed to be by the Gila Wilderness, and I changed that to Pink Salt Desert or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because like New Mexico, Arizona, the I guess Western deserts do kind of have pink evenings.
Yeah.
Real pretty sunset twilight hours.
Yeah, it's very rosy.
Yeah.
The light turns pink. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I also, for some reason, imagine you writing this entire thing in some type of Harry Potter closet under the stairs.
That's because I was in a closet.
There you go. Never mind. All right. Not need to hit that on the nose.
Yep. I was basically underneath coats and other jackets because I had to hide away from the children. And actually, my middle child decided to go into the closet one day, and there did happen to be a lock on it. And he locked himself in there, and we had to call the fire department to get him out. I tried to upend the door by myself, and I just managed to bust the lock. So we had them come in, and they they were like, why do you have a lock on your closet? And why is there a desk in here? And to all these firemen, I was like, I need to write somewhere. It was really embarrassing.
I'm definitely not doing my black market bookkeeping in here or anything, guys.
Please don't ask any more questions. Don't investigate this further.
Do not ask questions you don't know the answer to. But like, what if I want to know the answer to them then? Huh?
Yeah. You don't. No.
Yeah. The other thing too is like I did like your portrayal of mermaids, because like most of the time, mermaids are this like either like cute little thing or like this like awesome beautiful woman, and it's like I'm pretty sure all mermaids are actually Ursula from fucking The Little Mermaid, like the nice ones.
Yeah.
Or the mean monsters,
Yeah. Well, I explore that further in the third book, which I've already written. But it's the hot mess stage where it's just all the thoughts I've had, right? Like where you just have a stack of BS and...
Well, I mean, before you polish your turd, you do have to take a big fat shit. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I did that, and in it, so I don't think this is spoilers or anything, but like on Kyra, on the Neverland where they are at the end of the book, Moira goes off on her own at the end. So it picks up where she is and what she's discovering there. And the mermaids and other creatures that she destroys are figments of the Neverland's imagination. So they're like, her anger comes out this way as this species, and her questions are these species. And so like if she has a thought and doesn't rein it in, it becomes another animal. And the mermaids are kind of like her I can't remember actually what I made those, but they're like philosophies or something. I don't know. Velociraptors, yeah.
Yeah, Velociraptors.
Velociraptors.
I don't think they're quite as related as, dinosaurs are to chickens, but they might have scales. Fuck, I don't know.
Probably, yeah, I think so.
At the very least, they got fish have talons, right?
Yeah, do they?
I'm sure. Well, I mean, crabs are kind of like marine life. Fuck, I don't know.
They're pokey. They got pokey parts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Why aren't there mermaid crabs?
I don't know, but maybe we should make some.
Or would that be more like a centaur, a sea centaur?
Yeah.
Like a sea centaur, but it's got
like crab body and like they look scary. We have that scorpion guy. He's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I guess. But I mean, fucking what the ancient peoples thought up of as their monsters were like, on one hand, absolutely terrifying, but on the other, it's like it's a half person, half dog. Scorpion. Yeah, we're being real creative here, guys.
I know they're looking around.
Like the only one that's like I think is like really creative as far as like the ancient mythical beasts is like the dragon, and that's just because we don't have anything in that part of the world that looks like that, and they probably got that idea from digging up dinosaur bones and going, it must be a dragon.
Yes, especially the fire bit. They got to make it even more scary with all those teeth. Mm-hmm.
That's what is it like? Up in like Macedonia, Thrace, Greece, that area. They think that the reason people came up there with griffins is because they're still digging up a whole lot of pterodactyls. And if you look at a pterodactyl skeleton, it looks like some weird flying beast thing, and they wouldn't have imagined what it actually was. Like, it kind of looks like a lion with wings.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's pretty interesting. So they found like a huge concentration of pterodactyls there.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was like I don't know, like an old breeding ground, or if a lot of them just got schwacked all of a sudden, and then that's how they ended up.
Yeah.
Like the off the record, gets there in weird ways. So
yeah. No.
Like most stuff just falls over dead in the woods, and then like mice and insects and shit eat it. So
yeah, it doesn't get covered up immediately.
Yeah.
Fossilized. I love looking back at ancient history. I homeschool my kids, and I've been gathering supplies because we're talking about ancient history, and I get so excited about it, like the mythology and looking at peoples from the past. I'm really interested in all of that.
Have you looked into? No, I haven't, so I don't know. But have you looked into like what, say, Peter Pan was based off of? Like where whoever wrote that got their ideas for that?
I haven't really. Now, I've researched J.M. Barrie a bit, and he's a little sketch, I think.
Also,
like he got really close to a family, and they made a movie with Johnny Depp about it. Was it called Neverland? Or
I don't know.
I don't remember. But it had Kate, or wait. Anyways, so they have this movie to portray it, and it's a very sweet portrayal, kind of innocent. But when you start looking at the notes of his interactions, there may not have been an affair, but it seems like he spent an inordinate amount of time with the children because the mom was sick and the father was not around. But then you have, as they break down their family over time, and the mom dies from lung cancer or some kind of pain in her chest, and then he adopted all their children, and he wrote, about this little boy that never grows up, and it's kind of, I don't know, it sort of smacks of pedophilia a little bit.
There was this Netflix doc I watched a couple months ago, and I don't remember what it was called, but there was this guy that like moved in with this family, and this was I think in like the 60s or 70s, might have even been the 80s. And I don't remember how he knew this family, but they like knew him enough to be like, oh hey, listen, you lost your house, come in and move in with us. Yeah. So like immediately starts sleeping with the mom, and then when their oldest daughter turns 16, he starts sleeping with her, and then like runs away with her. He's like 30 something. Anyway, they call the cops. Cops find him, and they decide not to press charges and just like let him back into the house. So then he does the same thing with the next oldest daughter when she turned like 15 or 16, but they either got away to Mexico or Canada and like lived for like 2 or 3 years. And then after that, they eventually come home. And I think he had a kid with the middle daughter. And then they're like, oh yeah, it's whatever, shit happens. Like, let this dude stay at their house again, does the thing with the third daughter, except for like I think he like killed her and buried her in a national park. And then like that's what got everybody's attention. And it's like there was more than one red flag before this.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
You look at the stuff even that isn't really said. Like I don't know, there's just actions that people take sometimes where you go, I don't know why you did that. That is a strange thing to do.
Yeah, and then I think it like towards the end of it came out that the reason that the parents didn't press charges was because on top of sleeping with the mom, he was also sleeping with the dad, but they didn't know about it.
Oh no!
Like it was like,
wow.
If I rat on this guy, my spouse will know that I was banging them, and it's like, kidnapped your daughter and went to fucking Mexico, dude. Throw the guy in jail.
Priorities. Figure it out.
Fuckers.
Yeah, that is messed up. That's a really messed up story.
There's all kinds of fucking messed up shit like that. Fucking Netflix. Or the other one that fucking bothered me was like, you ever read Jane Eyre?
Yeah, but it's been a minute.
Oh, I don't understand why anybody fucking likes that book, because it's like, oh yeah, no red flags at all. Oh, you have this crazy person that might be your wife chained to a fucking radiator in the attic. I'm gonna stay here. This is a nice family.
I know. It's very scary.
Burn the house down, cut off one of your limbs, and then you marry the guy. It's like, no. No. Although I had a hard time with that one anyway, just because like I don't like I like those stories from like the 1800s, but I don't like the way they're written. Like,
yeah.
Have you ever read Dracula or Frankenstein?
Yeah, I've gotten through a little bit, but I haven't finished them.
Yeah, it's like I'm down with the story, but like, could you write this a little bit better, please? Could someone else rewrite this so that I don't want to burn the fucking book?
Yeah, that would probably get circulated quite a bit, wouldn't it? If you could rewrite it in with more modern, even the way the words are arranged, right? Like in the 1800s, like why did you put? I understand it was proper for the times, but the way that we speak and read isn't that proper anymore.
Yeah, I think we have to wait till the language evolves because, like, they do that for like Shakespeare and Chaucer and shit, you know, where it's like the original text where you can technically read it, but like it's barely the same language anymore. But on this side, we're gonna put down what they actually said nowadays. And it's like we don't have to wait 500 years for that. We can do that now.
Yeah. Yes. Which would be nice because I would like to read Frankenstein or Dracula in a side by side would be great, like how they do with Shakespeare.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
Although Dracula is weird, so like Dracula is one of my favorite characters ever, right? But I hate every fucking story that's ever been fucking told about him, except for that one where it was like his origin story. Was it Dracula Untold? Came out like about maybe 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I never watched it. I was interested.
Really good. Because portrays him kind of like a Darth Vader type figure, where it's like he was trying to do the right thing, and then I got turned into a vampire. Better use my new evil powers to kill the Turks.
Yes.
And the original story is like one of my favorite things ever, because like most people just think he's some blood-sucking fucking vampire dude, and doesn't know that he's an army of gypsies and can't actually go out in the light. And then the way it ends, they didn't drive a stake through his heart. They were having a fight with his army of gypsies while he was on his way back to his castle, and then no shit, the way Dracula dies in the book is a dude from Texas shows up and shoots him. And it's like, so all the lore you put into this, like you're not gonna have somebody like heroically hold him down until the sun comes up, or cut off his head, or boil him in holy water. Like Wesley from Dallas is gonna show up with his fucking peacemaker and put a 45 into his chest.
Yeah, that's a fascinating twist.
Yeah.
A way to end it.
The guy that wrote it was Irish, so it's like what?
I kind of like the way that it's all in Europe, and then a guy from Texas. I don't know, like that. I mean, I feel like that's just like the most distant, far-reaching land you could think of that a wild cowboy would just appear.
It was in the 1890s or early 90s. I'm sorry, 1890s or early 1900s when the guy wrote it. So like, cowboys were like big in the fucking culture, but also happening in real life. Yeah, we don't really have anything like that, Yeah.
No, the Texas Rangers were a pretty big deal.
Yeah, but fucking, I don't know. The thing about the Texas Rangers, though, is like ever since I think it was like the last episode of King of the Hill, when it turns out Boomhauer was a Texas Ranger the entire time, like that just ruined it for me, because now I imagine them. Imagine you're going to there. Here's my license and registration. I'm going to say
Yeah, that does kind of crush the ideal.
Fucking, you ever make it out to Tombstone?
No, I haven't.
That's a real fun like weekend trip.
Maybe I should do that. I better be writing this down.
Well, I mean, you can listen to it later, but there was I don't know if it's a go-to for the weekend, or if it's like if you're going somewhere else and that's like an hour off the course, hook over to it.
Yeah.
But they didn't like update the town at the fuck all, so it's all still dirt and like like wood shit. There's a bunch of actors going around shooting blanks at each other, and then
so fun.
These people are dedicated too. So like, there's like 12 bars in town, because why wouldn't there be? And all the role players and shit, go drink at these bars, but they don't get out of character while they're getting drunk with you. Like, me and my friend Chuck were there, and we got up to go outside to go smoke, and we came back, and some dude took our seats, and then we're like, oh well, somebody took our seats, fuck it, oh well, because you're in a bar, you don't care,
Yeah.
But then this other dude's like, did they take your seats? And we're looking at this like dude just like a cowboy. Like, I mean, we were sitting there, but I wouldn't say they were our seats. So he goes over to this guy's like, you guys need to move. My friends over here were sitting in those seats. And then they're like, well, fuck you. We ain't fucking, we got our rifle seats. And then they shot at each other with their like blank guns, and then like dragged these guys away. And we're like, did that just happen? And like the other cowboy's like, yeah, now sit down and have a sarsaparilla with me. It's like, all right, man, fuck it.
That's awesome. That sounds so fun. I want to go.
Yeah, I wish more places would do that. But that whole town's fucking dedicated, though.
It would be really fun, more fascinating. Explore it.
Are you a big fan of westerns at all? Probably should have asked that before I went on that tangent.
No, I used to watch. Okay. So yes, I haven't watched westerns in a while, but every time I do, I remember how much I love them. And I can't say that I've ever read westerns, but
I've read a few, but the ones that I read were like, these are the classic westerns you got to read.
Mm-hmm.
Just so happened to be written in like 1890. It's like, I get the story, man, but
what's that? The language again.
Yeah. Same thing with oh God, what's his name? Mark Twain. Like the story, it's like I can't read this.
Yeah.
Like,
I wonder if it's too like age, because I remember in high school I loved Mark Twain. Loved everything. I would read all his stuff, and I loved Charles Dickens, and I read all his stuff. And now I cannot even start. I'm just like angry that it's not easy.
do you know what ruined it? You know what ruined it is the Muppets did it better.
Oh, Muppets, yeah.
Yeah, like, why am I going to go read A Christmas Carol when there's a Muppets Christmas Carol I can just fucking watch?
Yeah.
Same thing to wrap it back to, well, maybe not Peter Pan, but definitely Pirates. Fucking Muppet Treasure Island. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We love that one. It's too good.
Yeah, I watched that again a couple years ago, and I was disappointed. Not with the film, but when I was a kid, I remember that movie being like 4 hours long, and it's like 48 minutes. And I was like, there's certainly more of this movie. Where did it go?
I know. I wonder, too, if, like, okay, maybe you did this, too, but we would watch it over and over and over and over and over again, because we didn't have that many shows, and that one was actually taped off of a special one time.
And you might have, like, maybe 10 fucking VHSs, and that's your fucking library.
Yeah, yep. I actually only had 2. They were E.T. and Willow.
Oh, man, I've not seen Willow. The only thing I remember from Willow is that scene where they all got turned into pigs.
Yeah, it was pretty horrifying.
Very terrible pig impersonation. I'm sorry to the hogs out there.
That was pretty good, though. I don't know. From a human perspective. Yeah, my brother and I, we would just be like, Willow, all the time when she's turning into a goat. What's her name? Not Sorsha. The old one. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. That was it. That's why I am the way I am. Willow E.T.
Again, there was another old one. Barely remember it, but did you ever see The Return to Oz?
I think I did.
That one was scary to me because, like, the bad guy, it was an evil queen, and she took people's heads off and like wore their head as her head.
Wait, yes.
Yeah.
That is awakening a deeply recessed memory.
I tried to suppress that, Trip. Why are you bringing it up? The Scarecrow and the Tin Man were like just fucking freaky.
You know what? I don't know what it was about, like the 80s and 90s, but they were real weird. Like Time Bandits. Did you ever see that one?
I don't think so. Was that the one where they had the watch where they could stop time for a second, but then they broke the watch and then just kind of like died?
I think so. Yeah. They're like a bunch of dwarves. Is that what we call them? And they were jumping through time. And all I remember is that this poor boy, his parents that never listen to him or pay attention to him turn into lobsters, and then he's basically an orphan at the end of the movie.
Huh.
And there was some kind of gladiator scene. I don't know. But memories, in the 80s and 90s, they had these weird... I don't know.
Yeah, no. Have you looked into the evolution of the crab at all?
No.
Okay, so there's this thing where apparently there's only like 2 actual crabs, and all the other things you call crabs are just false crabs because they were a different thing that was its own like marine life type thing. And for some reason, nature evolves everything into crabs at some point.
Oh.
So at some point in the future, everyone's gonna be a fucking crab person.
Ah!
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to do that.
Well, I mean,
so
I would be a cannibal. I'm not gonna lie.
You're gonna eat all the other crabs. Is that how much you love crab meat?
how much I love crab meat is. Did you ever see Starship Troopers?
A bit, yeah, I did. It was again a while ago. But
Okay,
yeah.
you remember all the giant fucking bugs and shit?
Yes.
I'd have been there with some fucking Old Bay, like chopping off their limbs, boiling it on the side while we weren't eating, just like no, that's good, man. Fucking. They get little like miniature nuclear bombs. You shoot a bug down or you shoot a nuke down a bug hole. You get a bunch of dead bugs and dinner.
Yeah, they're cooked for you and everything.
And you know what? If they didn't want us to do that, then they wouldn't call nuking it putting shit in the microwave to reheat food.
See, you just unpacked all. Yes, you've just solved the world's problems.
I'm just saying. Yeah. Now, I don't know how easy crabs are to like raise, so I don't know if we can just give everybody crabs, but I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't think much about crabs.
You're more in barbecue territory though, so.
What's that?
More in barbecue territory though, so.
Yeah, we're more like brisket.
Yeah.
Tacos.
Yeah, that's another thing that'll fucking piss. Motherfucker, I'm about to piss off the internet, and I'm not going to apologize for it. Oklahoma has better barbecue.
Okay.
Have fun with that sound bit. People this way. Before you write your death threats.
I'm not a part of this. I didn't say that.
I disavow everything Trip just said.
You know, though, I don't know. The South has pretty good barbecue. I've heard there was some northern state that had really good barbecue too, though.
I've heard that a few times, but everyone says it's Ohio, and it's like, nah, dude, I live there.
No.
You're either lying or stupid, or you're a stupid liar. You're a stupid liar. Like, no. There's good food in fucking Ohio. Oh, cool. You got some like homemade Amish food. Listen, sauerkraut's fucking disgusting. Fuck y'all, all right? Like, you eat like 2 spoons of it like on New Year's Eve for good luck. And then you throw the rest of the shit away and you don't bring it out till fucking like next year.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I feel like, okay, who else do we need to make angry? We've already kind of harassed California a little bit, which we could keep going about them if you want to, because right now they're kind of.
I mean, yeah, no, I can't. Well, I mean, see, everything that's happening in California is 100% California's fault, right?
Yeah.
You know, the state's like always on fucking fire now. Well, what's supposed to happen in the natural fucking ecosystem is, you know, the fucking like forests grow up and then they drop all their leaves and then, you know, the leaves get too much for, you know, the trees to grow. And then lightning strikes, it sets it on fire. It burns down all the underbrush. Mm-hmm. And then the trees stay there and they have, you know, rich nutrient soil after that. But people decided to build a house where the fire is supposed to be. And then they get mad when their house burns down. It's like, that place is always on fire. It's always been on fire. The only reason it's a problem now is because your dumbass built a fucking house there. Like, there's this misconception that natural disasters are getting more prevalent, and they're not. Hurricanes have always been a thing. Tornadoes have always been a thing. Earthquakes have always been a thing. But do you know what hasn't been a thing? People living in fucking Miami are building houses on a fucking fault line. Like, oh my God, your house got fucking sucked up by a tornado in Kansas. Well, you put your fucking house in Tornado Alley. Like, whose fault's this, right? Like, why are you blaming God for doing something you know you did wrong? Fuck.
We cannot accept responsibility. That is uncomfortable. I know.
The mirror is fucking terrible. Don't ever look in it.
Well, it's funny because, like, when I lived in California, we grew up on the San Andreas Fault. There was a branch of it that went off into Hollister, and what is it called? Is it shifting? No, I don't know. But it's like a fault that's always kind of moving. So anytime there's any tremor at all, our town got wiggled around. So all the sidewalks were crooked, all the streets were crooked, everything was dilapidated. So you just get used to, like, well, I guess our buildings will fall down soon. And in 89, there was a massive earthquake during the World Series.
Yeah, rock San Francisco.
Yeah. Well, that destroyed my town. Pretty much.
I had to take a class on like natural disasters, which is why I will go on a fucking rampage about this. But there's like live footage of this one fucking horrendous fucking thing that happened during that fucking earthquake. Like there was like a double-decker interstate thing, and one thing fell on a bunch of cars and trucks, and there was like people still in there, but it was also on fire. So the fire people were trying to get people out. But there was this one story, and like we had to watch a video of it. I was like, dude, you could have just told us this. I didn't need to see that shit. But, there was this like van or something that got crushed. It killed the parents, and the kids were still alive in the back. But the only way to get the kids out before the fire got to them was to get the parents out. But the parents were too stuck and stuff, so they couldn't pull them out. So they had to like chainsaw the parents into pieces and yak them out to get to the kids before they caught on fire. And it's like, I thought the shit I cooked up in my imagination was fucked up, but apparently fucking reality's worse, man.
Oh, and those kids, I would be like, let me die. I have seen all I can bear.
Yeah, rip and tear, man.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, your town got destroyed.
Yeah. My bookstore caught on fire. That's about it. That was bad. Yeah. And yeah, I was only 6 though, but I remember it.
Yeah.
Our house was like walking. It was weird.
Like walking, like, hey, just put its hands in its pocket, whistling. I'm doing nothing.
Yes, exactly.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yes, Oz. I lived in Oz. But then if you don't have that, it's on an active coast. I worked at the Monterey Bay Aquarium for a little bit, and so we had to learn about the currents, and we had to learn about, just so we could talk to people in the aquarium. I was a docent, a volunteer, so it wasn't like I was paid. I wasn't a specialist. I was also 18, so I wasn't like a genius or anything. But I would talk to people about the creatures, and I loved being there, except that, it's an active coast, so it's always eroding constantly in California, right? Like houses are falling into the ocean, then mudslides are washing streets, or like
again, that wouldn't be a problem if your dumbass didn't build a house on a fault line.
But it's so beautiful. It's so pretty.
For the people listening later, I'm staring at the camera maliciously.
Yeah. And then forest fires.
Yeah, which it's part of the fucking cycle. It's supposed to burn down so it can regrow.
Yeah.
You wouldn't build your house in a fucking fire pit.
No.
Wrong, you would if you lived in California.
Yeah. Yep. There's nowhere safe to live, really, I don't think. Is there any place in the world that is 100% safe?
I would say where I'm at's pretty good. Like I'm up in the mountains in the middle of fucking Pennsylvania. It gets cold. And by cold, I mean, like, was it? It wasn't quite cold last winter, but the winter before it was -20 before you added in wind chill.
Oh my.
But there aren't earthquakes or really bad storms or tornado. Like apparently in this area you get like one really bad tornado once every 150 years. And we had one like 70 years ago. So like,
you got some time.
But I did see a bear in my backyard, so like you got that.
Wildlife. Yeah.
Which is like why I'm not worried about the fucking, societal collapse. Like, no, there's deer in the backyard all the time. I have to eat. There's a stream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you got what you need. Is that why you moved there? You knew all this was going to happen.
No, actually, when I was about to get out of the Marines, I didn't really, like, I had an idea for what I wanted to do, but I didn't really know where I wanted to go. So I put in applications for UCLA, University of Houston, and Penn State. And then Penn State got back to me first. And I was like, well, that settles that.
Cool.
Like I had a plan for each side of the dice, and rolled the dice, and then just went with
Penn. Yeah. Cool.
Yep, worked out. It was like, what's up?
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was saying because it worked out because when I bought my house here, like I'm on a little bit less than an acre. My house is about 2,500 square feet, and I got it for $80,000.
That's amazing.
Like that's a year's worth of rent in Los Angeles. So
I might be reconsidering Texas suddenly. Suddenly.
Well, bring a jacket.
Yeah, I don't like that part. That part's not fun for me. It is pretty hot here right now. what was I gonna say? It was something about. Oh, okay. So what are you going to school for? Because your art is amazing.
I actually dropped out of school because they weren't teaching me anything.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, because like I was going for art, because I wanted to do art shit.
Mm-hmm.
And over the last few years, I have gotten better at art, but none of that was, very little of that was from school. I did have one teacher, Susan Marie Brundage, who was great on color theory. But besides that, most of the stuff where it was like, hey, listen, we have this project we got to do. It's like, all right, cool. How do we do this? You're going to figure it out as you do it. It's like, okay, so I'm going to go learn this from YouTube. Great. Fucking, why the fuck am I paying you to fucking do this shit? And then that compounded with when I first enrolled, they told me that like all my military shit would fucking roll over. And then like last year, like, oh yeah, by the way, it doesn't get to come here for another year, even though you have 130 fucking credits. And it's like, no. And it got to the point where I was being told that my art wasn't politically correct enough. And I was like,
but it's art.
Yeah. And then my rebuttal to that was, I came here so you can teach me to get better at art. You're not doing that. The other thing you could say is like networking, but none of these other people are ever gonna fucking go anywhere, except for like maybe one chick. She was fucking pretty fucking legit. And then like I'm not doing too much more than paying the bills right now, but I'm painting and day drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And getting the bills paid, and I chain smoke like a fiend, so I can support my habits and keep the fucking bills on and drink and paint all day. So fuck it.
That sounds nice. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, but thank you for appreciating my art.
I do. I love it. I was actually telling my husband, I was like, look at the way he's using colors, because I love color, but then the way you've been doing recently, I think I've seen, is like the guy was all pink and one was orange or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, just like layering stuff up. Speaking of that though, the person, I don't know who did your cover art for Moira, because they fucking knew how to fucking play with some fucking shit.
I know.
Like, if you're listening to this at home later, sorry you don't get to see what I'm doing, but if you're watching this on YouTube, like my camera is not that great, but like this is a really well made, cover art.
Yeah, he did so good. His it was a part of ebook launch. It's like a family owned, but it's one of the sons, I think. His name is Dane. He did it, and I was like, I need you to do all the covers now. So thank you.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you already have the cover for the second book worked up?
No. I'm kind of waiting until I've polished it to where I feel good about it. And it's going to have a picture of Ravage on it as a boy.
So not Dustin Hoffman as Captain Hook pretending to be a werewolf?
No.
Where are you at in that? Like with your second book?
I'm working through the third draft.
Okay.
It is not going to sell, and I've already come to terms with that, because it is not at all. I don't know what I was writing Moira for. I don't really know. I just wrote what I wanted to write, right?
Which is what you should be doing.
Right.
I mean, because like this might be a bitter pill to swallow, but let's face it, we're both indie authors. Like, we have a very dedicated, stabby fan base, but outside of that,
yeah,
right for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because when it comes down to it, there's gonna be people that have feelings and opinions about it, and I just really like what I'm writing right now, and it's more. So James Joyce is one of my favorite authors. His book Ulysses. Have you read that?
I have it, but I haven't read it.
Okay, it's like, well, every chapter, I think it's 16 chapters. It's been a while since I've read it, but every chapter is a different viewpoint for the same day. And so 16 different people interacting with each other, and each person has their own voice. And I mean, I read this in college, and I remember feeling so, I don't know. It was it spoke to me, I guess, where you're like, this is what I love, and so this is what I'm writing now, which it's not just Earth, because I don't know how to write a child's perspective that well, right? So like I'm trying to piece it together.
I would say I do, but like I just figure, okay, kids are idiots. I'm an idiot. This will work, right? Just don't say fuck as much. You'll be all right. Cut out the sex and the violence and the drinking and the smoking, and instead of messing around with guns and running around the woods, yep.
It is. You did it. Yay.
I'm on the same page. I have fucking no clue how to write that.
I mean, well, and it's on top of that, it is, it's actually controversial in some ways. I mean, I know that I'm stepping into it. I know what I'm doing, right? Where you're like, I'm probably going to get, I don't want to do sensitivity readers. I don't even think I really want to do beta readers. I think I just want to write it because I like it. I'm going to have it edited.
Yeah.
But
which is something you need to do, because like it doesn't matter how many times you look over it, you're gonna misspell there 14 times, and then you're gonna say defiantly instead of definitely.
Yes.
30,000 times, and then like the homonyms or bitch.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's elemental meets cyberpunk, kind of.
Okay.
So you have Earth is the name of Ravage. He changes his name a few times, so his name is Earth in this book, and he has horns. Like he has elemental, all the elements. Actually, he's like the only one of his people that has all of them.
Who's the last airbender? Got it.
Basically, yes, exactly, and. So they're trying to escape from oppression, and he's discovering his power. He starts out at I start from birth, and then I go through up until he's like 14, I think. So I'm enjoying it though. It's quite a process, and I'm in the middle right now, redrafting it.
Yeah. I don't have too many beta readers, but the ones I do, they're mostly there to make sure that what I said makes sense.
Yeah.
And they're all like close friends that are like super about the fucking books. And so far it's been shit like where like I had somebody read the 7th book, which isn't out yet, but he's like, this doesn't make sense because of a sentence in the first book. I'm like, I didn't even remember that, but let me delete half this chapter. Fuck.
It's hard when you're in a series. You have to keep going back, and then I don't even care enough because I don't want to read Moira again. I'm done with that, you know?
Do you forget it?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, because fucking I'm imagining that once I'm done with this series, I'm not gonna look at it again until I'm 60 and then be like, holy fuck, I wrote that. Ah!
Yeah. I take it back. Yeah. I don't know. I have a few people that have read it several times, and
that's always a great feeling too.
Yeah, that makes me feel really good, and I'm also mystified.
Read it more than once. Holy shit! I only read it fucking twice, and that was to proofread it.
Yeah, I didn't read it for any other reason other than to critique it or add something. I don't know. Yeah. So I love those people. I appreciate them very much.
They are the number one fans. They're all tied for number one.
Yeah.
Until someone gets a tattoo, in which case they get number one. But until then.
Oh no. Has anyone gotten a tattoo of any of yours?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. They'll probably let you know.
I've got a lot of fan art and then some cosplayers, which is super cool.
That's awesome.
No tattoos yet.
Okay. Well, that's next. We're gonna have to make an indie author checklist. Fan art? Cosplay?
You remember a couple of years ago when the indie author monthly challenges were the big fucking thing, and everyone was doing it even though it was just a bunch of fucking indie authors jacking each other off and not actually fucking reading each other's fucking books and shit. We need to start another one where it's all right, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. Fucking day 30, get a tattoo or have someone else get a tattoo of something.
That would be pretty awesome.
I mean, like, I've had some stuff that are similar, like, because, like, you know, my characters, a lot of them have tattoos, but they're also in the Marine Corps or the Navy, so they're like the standard cookie cutter. I'm a dumbass 19-year-old that just joined the military. Let me get this tattoo. And so I've had a couple people like, dude, I have these exact tattoos. And like, there are literally 20,000 people with those exact tattoos. That's why the characters have them. Congratulations.
I know what I was doing. Shocking.
Weird, right? You're gonna tell me that you went to this like one strip club that's right outside of the front gate across the street from the fucking Denny's on Sundays because they let the military in for free, and that meant you got free breakfast. Right?
I just wrote your life. You're welcome.
Yeah. I had that though, where a couple people have sent me like a picture of my book in a place that was in the book, and I was like, oh, that's really neat. But you know,
that's really cool.
But you know, most of my fan base is like from that area, so it's like, well,
yeah,
you had to look outside, click, you know.
But still, it's nice.
It is. What are you gonna do though when somebody sends you a picture of them reading Moira, but like they're in Neverland, and you're like, that's obviously photoshopped, and they like FaceTime you, and it's not, and you're like, where the hell are you?
Hang up right now. You're freaking me out.
Oh god! Oh god! And then like you wake up, and then you're mad that it was a dream.
Yeah.
Damn it! So close.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't know, I had this weird ass fucking dream last night or the night before. I was in somebody's fucking apartment. I remember that it was somebody I knew, but you know how dreams work. Fucking who it was fucks off, you know, after whatever. But like we were like on the top floor of the skyscraper, and their apartment was like really weird. So it was like the living room, and then the closets, and then the bedrooms and kitchen. But you had to go through the closets to get to whatever. One, it was like you had to go in the closet, close the door, and then open the other door to get to it.
Oh yeah.
And there was this movie that was going to be on TV, and we all got together to watch this movie on TV because none of us wanted to go buy the DVD. But we got pissed off because Godzilla started attacking the city, and we knew that it was just going to be like fucking live coverage of Godzilla attacks instead of playing the fucking movie we wanted to watch. So we started drinking instead.
That dream is such an interesting splice of what I picture would really happen with things that will never happen.
Right?
That was amazing.
It's like fucking, where's Freud at? Analyze that one. Tell me how me being mad about a movie getting canceled by Godzilla makes me want to bang my mom. Like, come on.
He'll break it down for you.
Yeah.
Well, wait, what book are you on right now? You're on the 7th?
So I am done with my final drafts of 7, 8, and 9.
Betsy.
I have to send it to my person who makes sure that I spelled the right, and then I spelled the artwork, well, most of the artwork for it. But I'm gonna release them like back to back. But also, I wanted to do all fucking 3 of them because they like operate like a trilogy. Because like, you know, the first 3 are a trilogy, the 4, 5, and 6 are they're 4, 5, and 6, but they operate as their own trilogy, and like these 3. To get what's going on, it'd probably be best to have read the other 6 first, but you could start at 7 and read 7, 8, and 9, and it just operates as a trilogy that like you don't know the backstory for, but it's not going to be detrimental if you didn't read the first 6.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I like that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It gives people options, which is nice.
Yeah, and I did the same thing with what 4, 5, and 6, and I had a couple people that were like, yeah, so you know, you said I got to start at 4, so I started at 4. And then I read 5 and 6. I was like, dude, these are great. What the fuck happened in the first 3 that made this shit possible? It's like, you fell into my trap.
Now you have to go
Spider's web.
That's awesome. I know I read the first one and I loved it. And the second and third one, I was going to buy them. But then I saw you had the big old, what is it?
The war chest.
War chest. Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to save my pennies for that one.
I've got a lot of shit about that too, because people are like, what are you going to do when the next books come out? I'm like, I'm going to write 12 of them and you get the War Chest 1 and War Chest 2. Fucking, I don't know.
I mean, it'll work out.
For future trip.
Yeah. You don't need to worry about that right now.
None.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, just from looking around on Instagram, it seems like some sad things happen, which is part of why I haven't pulled the trigger yet.
Well, I also like to leave shit on cliffhangers so that like you have to read the next one just so you know. Like, well, what the fuck did that mean?
Yeah, you have to keep going.
Yeah, and like no spoilers here, but the sixth one ends like I ended the third one in a really violent / ambiguous way where like when you read it the first time, there's something you assume happens, but it doesn't actually state that it happens. And in the sixth one, there's like a massive fuck like Marianas Trench cliffhanger that makes you like go, wait a minute, that's not possible because of something that happened in the third one. And I'll get messages like, didn't this happen at the end of the third one? I'm like, I want you to go reread the last chapter of the third one. And they're like, you motherfucker, I thought this happened. I'm like, I didn't say that happened. You just inferred that it happened. God damn it, I hate you. I come to your house and stab you.
Those are the fun death threats.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So Bad Mystery over here in the comments says, I have a question. What inspired you to write your story? And I don't know if it's talking to me or you, but you go first.
Okay, I'll go first. So Moira was inspired. It started from being bored. I was watching my children play with a pirate ship, and it was a pirate ship on the back of a shark. And I thought, that's cool. I wonder if there's a story in that. And so then I started thinking about lost boys and lost girls being on pirate ships, and it grew into a Peter Pan type retelling.
Yeah, because it's not a straight up like Peter Pan rewrite. Like there is a definite like taste of inspired by, but it's not like just a remake.
Right. Like there's it all started with questions, right? Where you go, okay, so if Neverland is in the mind, because you know when you watch the cartoon or you read the book and they just fly and are in space and then are in an island in space, and you try to figure it out, but when you're writing it, you have to come up with mechanics and like, well, how does that happen? I don't know.
And then if you don't even acknowledge it, then people are like, at least fairy dust or something. At least say it's magic.
Say something, yeah, make it up. But then. Yeah, so it would just be like that, or how does he, his shadow, when I did that scene was when he's all acting weird and they end up making out. That was like his shadow. It was a piece of him that was cut off from the whole of him, and it reassimilated when he appeared. So, and then, yeah, it's just little things like that I borrowed. Sorry. What about you?
So at least with the first one, I originally was, I guess, inspired by this story called, or this book called The Raggedy Ass Marines. It was a series of letters between these two guys that they wrote each other. They were friends and they, wrote each other letters, but they were both in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, but they never actually served together. They were like friends from back home or something. So they're like Journal of Keeping Up. And it was all these like, fucked up short stories about, this like crazy shit they did.
Yeah.
So I started like keeping a notebook of like funny stories or like shit that I saw that I was funny or stuff I heard on the smoke deck or whatever. And at some point I was setting out to write it where it was like, hey, here's a bunch of like short stories of bullshit I heard. And after I got, I guess those notes and put them into a Word document that weren't quite a story, just kind of like a hodgepodge of bullshit. I started putting them down. But then I was like, it'd be better than this if all this shit, instead of happening to 50, all these same things happen to like 2 or 3 fucking dudes. And then, kind of put it together with that. And then one way or another, fucking like all the mythology and aliens and weird shit came into it. Because like, when you're having a conversation with somebody and they tell you a story and you're like, that's cool, but it'd be better than that. And they like make a joke about it. That's like really funny. There's a lot of that got pulled into it.
Yeah.
So
it gets really extraordinary, doesn't it? Where you start.
Yeah, although fucking the first draft was like twice as long as the first one, and there was a whole of like what happened in the first book wasn't even the main plot. What actually happened originally was like Hank and Doc were doing their thing. Like all the stuff in the first book happened, but it was sidelined to they got into a car accident with Justin Bieber. And it turned out that Justin Bieber was a KGB agent, sent to destroy the American fucking like psyche or whatever. And Lana Del Rey was going around and killing movie stars for, corroding the American youth. And then like Zoolander 2 came out and it was that. Like, God fucking damn it. If I wrote this 5 years ago, this would have been golden and I could sue these motherfuckers. But it didn't, so I had to delete half the fucking book.
Aw. Wow, that's wild. That is a lot of cameos. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, except for his name wasn't Justin Bieber. It was like Dustin Jeeber, and then Well Ray, and it was like, fucking like but it was changed enough to where you couldn't sue me for it.
Yeah. You'd be like, this is suspicious. I think I know what he's talking about. Yeah. Good question, Mad Mystery.
Yeah. But going back to the other thing, friggin' dreams in Peter Pan, I used to have this dream. It wasn't quite reoccurring because it wasn't the same thing over and over again. But it was a similar situation where I could fly like Peter Pan.
Fun.
But only in empty swimming pools.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a fun caveat.
So I'd have to find an empty swimming pool, jump in it, I could fly around, whatever, but as soon as I came out, I'd hit the pavement.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Right?
So in flying dreams, I always start off strong. I can be way out there. But then somehow in the rest of my dreams, it's I can't quite get up off the ground. It runs out or something. It's very sad.
Most flying dreams I've had, I had to flap my arms to fly.
Yes.
So yeah, it started off strong until I ran out of fucking endurance, and then it's God, my arms hurt.
Never mind, I'm crashing into this tree.
I used to have another similar type reoccurring dream where it wasn't always the same. It started off the same, but it always ended differently. Where, I was part of the Scooby-Doo gang, and it was in black and white. These dreams were always in black and white. And we go see a movie, and then the bad guy would come out of the movie and chase us around, but the bad guy was in color.
Huh.
And I think that's one of the reasons that I used to think that the entire world was in black and white until the 1950s, and then for whatever reason, color started existing.
And it's interesting that the villain gets to be colored. It's almost like everyone else is secondary.
Yeah. But the one main one was because there was 4 or 5 bad guys that were the same bad guy. They just colored them different. One was green, one was red, like the Strawberry Goblin or whatever the fuck his name was.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting.
But yeah. But also fucking reoccurring dreams is one of the reasons that I don't not believe in reincarnation.
Oh, okay. Do you think it's visiting, you're remembering your past or something?
Yeah. So when I was a little kid, and when a little kid, I mean 2 or 3, I would have this reoccurring fucking nightmare over and over and over again, almost every night for a couple of fucking years.
Wow.
And I was in this weird I didn't know how to describe it in words back then, but I'm gonna use terminology that I didn't know back then, right? So I know what it is now, but I didn't know what it was back then. But I was in this really it was raining, it was thundery. I was in this really muddy fucking trench. There was barbed wire everywhere. Fucking the sky was lighting up with lightning, but also lighting up with fucking artillery fire. And I'm running around with a rifle in my hand, and it's scary as shit. And then a bunch of doughboys jump over the fucking thing into the fucking trench, and then I get bayoneted to death. And it was the same dream over and over and over. And I didn't know what any of that fucking shit was. And then when I was a teenager watching the fucking History Channel, I'm oh yeah, I know what that is. Why the fuck do I know what that is? This is weird.
Whoa. You have said before that you really have always been fascinated with World War I, right?
Yeah, and I think that's part of it. So I don't know if I believe in reincarnation, but I don't not believe in it.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I mean, there's another thought. Like if you're not quite haunted, but having the memories of another person too. Oh.
Yeah.
But both. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Although like haunted, like that's kind of a weird term because like when you think of like haunted, like you have a lot of negative connotations with that.
Yeah.
And I am pretty sure I have ghosts in my house, but I wouldn't say that my house was haunted because all the ghosts are like chicks from the 50s in like cocktail dresses getting drunk and fucking like one of the weird things, like if I'm up like way late at night, you know, fucking I'll hear footsteps walking around, I'll go up there and nothing's fucking up there.
Whoa.
But like my sister's a fucking medium, and you know, she was over here and I asked her about it. She's like, oh no, it's just a bunch of chicks in the kitchen getting drunk. And I was like,
no big deal.
Why don't they come down and say hi, man? Fucking I'm drinking, I'll take my pants off. I mean,
yeah. Wow, that's trippy.
Yeah.
And she's a medium, so she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, wow. That's a fucking like whole fucking different fucking rabbit hole of fucking shit, you know.
Yeah. I mean, we could go there if you want. I don't mind.
Dude, let's go there. Let's go there. Fucking tell me give me what you got.
I don't have anything.
How dare you?
I know, I'm sorry.
No, but with the not believing in shit, like I never really believed in Bigfoot until about like 2 years ago, and now I don't not believe in Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Because for thousands of fucking years, like going back to like ancient Greece and ancient Egypt, you know, there would be these stories, these people that went down into like sub-Saharan Africa, down in the jungle, and there's this like wild ape man down there fucking like scaring people, you know, like pretty much every Bigfoot story you've ever heard, but some Greek dude 4,000 years ago in what's now, I guess, Nigeria or Uganda or some shit, right?
Yeah.
And everyone said, you're crazy. There aren't fucking like hairy ape men down there. You fucking idiot. Fuck off, you know? Until I think it was like 1910 when we discovered gorillas.
Oh.
And they're like, oh, no, all these Greek guys, they weren't talking about African Bigfoot. Like, there's this thing down there. A gorilla. There's also bonobos, like big ape things. And it's like, considering like how sparsely populated fucking Canada is, I don't know that there's not a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Like, I would never go hunting for him, but I mean, like, if somebody found him, I'd be like, yeah, checks up.
Yeah. I kind of feel that way about almost everything now, where I'm like, why not? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure. We don't know everything.
No. And then when people are like, well, there's no proof of it, so fuck you, buddy. It doesn't exist. It's like, well, yeah, I understand that at a certain point, like, if I want to be adamant about something existing, the evidence is my responsibility to fucking show you. But at the same time, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
Right. Yep. I know that argument.
Same thing with like, you know, like chupacabras or, you know, the goat man or the mothman or, you know, the Area 51 shit or all that stuff. So, you know. Although there are some anticlimactic ones. Have you ever heard of the Flatwoods Monster?
Yeah. I don't know specifically.
Okay, so this is another West Virginia fucking story, but apparently these kids were out playing in the fucking woods and they see this like giant fucking like alien monster fucking thing floating around and they're like, oh my God. So they go get their mom, they bring their mom out and their mom's like, oh my God, I see it. And then they go get their brother, which gives credence to this because he was like the town sheriff and like a very reputable guy. So he comes out there and goes, oh my God. And he calls the National Guard and the National Guard shows up and then like nobody ever sees it again. And then like, that's the entire story. Like they describe it a little bit more, but it's like, so some redneck saw a thing and then like the cops saw the thing the redneck saw and then was it? Did it like knock on anybody's doors? Did it eat a goat? Did it? No, it was just there. It was just there.
We saw it. It was there, yeah. That is interesting. Yes. Yeah. Well, I loved X-Files, and I loved how they explored all the different sightings, weird events.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember I need to watch them again because I loved the standalone episodes. Like, I was okay with the alien take on things. Like, that was fun. But I really enjoyed just looking at each one, exploring each thing, like the Chupacabra.
Yeah, no, we watched it a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and it still holds up. It's still a really good show. Because, like, you go back and watch some shows, you're like, yeah, this is shit. Why do I like this?
Yeah.
Like, the X-Files is still a really, really good show. Like, my dogs are named Mulder and Scully.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
No, they're good shows. Although I did watch Twin Peaks recently because everybody's like, you loved X-Files, you're going to love Twin Peaks. I'm like, this is okay.
Yeah. I remember I dabbled, but I wasn't really hooked, I guess.
Yeah. Speaking of the mutts, I don't know if you can hear that or not.
I heard it was like scratching.
Yeah, no, but they had a really good dynamic in that because, like, Mulder was, like, in it, even if there was, like, no fucking proof. Like, he would have been a QAnon guy, Yeah. And then, like, Scully's like, no, you're an idiot. That doesn't exist. And half the episodes would end in a way to where it was like neither one of them, you didn't know which one was right.
Right.
Was it actually Bigfoot or was it some fucking rednecks?
We don't know. And then his hope just never dies. So you keep hoping. You're like, well, I'm sure he probably saw it. It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there were some fucking creepy episodes. Like, you remember that one where it was this, like, redneck family out in the woods?
I knew you were going to say that. I knew that.
Yeah. There was that, like, quadriplegic mom. And then,
that was, like, legit. Like, that is, like, you know what I mean? Where it's, like. La, 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 la.
You can say what you want. That kid knew how to play the fucking banjo, all right?
Yeah, he did. That's fine. We'll take that. That's fine. Yeah, that was messed up. That episode really freaked me out for a long time. I remember reading about it in, like, Reader's Digest or something. They talked about that episode and how controversial it was and things. And it was.
This offends the people of Wheeling, West Virginia. You sure are bored with Ohio. Like,
yeah. That is true. Poor Ohio. We're slashing it to ribbons tonight.
No, I had a friend over a couple weeks ago. Went to high school. At least one of the few people I still talk to that I went to high school with, and he's living up in Cleveland now.
Okay.
But he came over and he was like, "Dude, how the fuck does Pennsylvania share a border with Ohio? This is like, shouldn't even be in the same fucking region."
Yeah, it's a whole other world. I'm sure. I didn't venture, but.
Yeah, we went to this place while they were there. It was really fucking cool. It was, I like going to fucking caves because caves are.
Me too. It's a new passion.
Yeah, but there's this place. I think it's called Penn State Caverns. Might be Lincoln Caverns. But anyway, it's like 3/4 of a mile long. This cave is right, and there's an opening. There's like 3 or 4 openings, but there's only 2 that you can go to because they'll gate it off. But between those 2, it's all a river. And the tour is on a boat. Taking a boat tour through a fucking cave. And the way they present it, they kind of like mess with you psychologically a little bit. Because like, oh, yeah, look, we're in this tight little space. All the lights are out. You can only see the one flashlight I have. And they pull up to the side, flip a switch, the lights come on. And it's like, oh, there's like 100 yards up. That's like how big this fucking cave is. It was fucking phenomenal.
That's cool. That's really cool. I want to go. We used to go to caves when I first moved here to Austin. We went to like Inner Space Caverns, and there's another one I can't remember now, but they're privately owned. So they're not like, they're kind of cheap, I guess. Yeah. But we went to Carlsbad Caverns in March, and I have never been in awe that long. Like, I didn't know what to expect. Like, you go, caves, beautiful formations, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And it's so grand. Like, everything about it, I just had to stop. I don't know. I couldn't.
Take it in for a minute.
Yeah. It was wild. And then we went after that to Mammoth Cave because I drove to Ohio to meet the other Britt Laux, the indie author, and
You drove all the way up to Ohio to meet her. Yeah, I guess you could really hit it off then, right?
Yeah. Well, and I kind of like to just visit people.
I mean, she seems cool. I don't think I've seen any of her posts recently. Is she still active or?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
They're taking a break. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So it was good, but I had my husband fly the kids to Ohio because his family's there.
Okay.
And leave them, and then I took them through Kentucky and Missouri and Tennessee and all that. But we stopped at Mammoth Caves in Kentucky, and I was like, okay, caves, here we come. And they only let us in this one room, which was a massive cavern, huge. And they found, it's a place where Indigenous Americans used to mine, and they don't know what they were mining or what they were doing with the stuff they got from there.
Well, obviously, it was the Anunnaki mining for gold so that they can take it back to their planet and put it in their atmosphere, man.
I tried to tell them. I tried. They didn't listen to me. State park rangers. But then we, and that's where, this is fascinating, history. After the Revolutionary War, George Washington was like, we cannot let people forget about us. So let's go ahead and sell saltpeter to make black gunpowder for, I forget who was fighting, France and England, maybe? A war was happening. And so we're like, we'll go ahead and give them gunpowder so they can fight. And then people will remember us. And then after it was over, it was 1817. What was happening then?
The end of the War of 1812.
Yep, that's it.
Which, despite being called the War of 1812, lasted for a little bit longer than just 1812.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. And that's where the phrase petered out came from, because the saltpeter mines in the Mammoth Caves, where they were getting their saltpeter from, they stopped.
Well, then they were mining salt then, because you got to put that shit on your food.
I know. But all the broken wooden pieces are still there from the mine. And that's where they said, petered out. So I was like, well, that's cool. I'm going to just tell that to everybody I know. You're next, Trip. I told you. Well,
there we go. Fucking add another one to the fucking chopping block. Yeah, no, but like caves are kind of like a real interesting thing, because like you can't have experienced them really up until like maybe about 100 years ago, or at least until they invented the light bulb. Because before that, you got like a candle or a torch and you're going through it, and it's like I could see like 5 feet in any fucking direction.
Yeah.
Like if you go into like some of the bigger caves where you get like 100 yards up, it's like if you're walking back there through the day with a torch, you can't see how far up there is.
No, you can't. You can't really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad we live in the age of the fleshlight.
Yeah. Although we are kind of in a precarious time though, because like we're too late to explore the Earth, but like too early to explore space.
Yeah. Man.
Stagnant age. I mean, not that I'm mad about it, because like space would probably be fucking terrifying to go in.
I don't want to do that.
If you're exploring the Earth, worst case scenario, if the natives don't kill you wherever you go, you fucking live off the land.
Yeah.
You go to space, you land on some rock, and it's like, I'm gonna run out of oxygen in like 3 hours. This is it.
I'm done.
Because like there's all kinds of stories of explorers going somewhere and getting shipwrecked, and they get found 20 years later, and then go back to fucking society after that. That's not happening in space. Like you land somewhere, you're not prepared, you're dead.
You're dead. Yep, it's true. Yeah, the space does not appeal to me at all. I love terrestrial living. I just do. I could maybe see exploring the depths. We still don't know that much about the ocean.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure we actually do know a lot about the ocean. They're just not telling us about it, because there's this race of giant crab people down there hell-bent on fucking human destruction. Their allies, the dolphins, are fucking in on it. They're spies for the crab people. And as soon as we start fucking exploring the deep down depths, that's when the crab people are going to come out and use their claws on us.
No, they won't, because I'll go down there with you, and you will eat them all.
Fucking Old Bay. Old Bay with campfire. Like, you're dead. Yeah. You're dead.
I'll talk to the dolphins. I'll be like, and then you can be like, and get the crabs.
By the way, fucking dolphins are not fucking safe either. A, they're assholes. B, their whatever the version of aquatic racists are. See, they're delicious. I've been to Japan. I will eat one again, and I will not fucking apologize for it.
I didn't know you could eat dolphin.
Oh my god, it's good.
Anywhere.
It's good.
Good, like better than fish, better than crab, better than like what's it?
It's better than I don't think it's better than crab. I personally think it's a little better than shark. Better than fish, but not as good as steak. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. I imagine like a beefed up tuna.
All right.
But
is it fishy tasting?
No, because it's a mammal.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's.
Is it chicken?
I'm trying to find shit to fucking compare it to, but like saying that dolphin kind of tastes like whale isn't too much of a fucking. Because like people over here fucking you don't eat that stuff, like I only have because I got to fucking travel,
Yeah.
And like I find weird shit to eat.
Well, that's fun.
I will eat anything once.
That is fascinating. Even critters like bugs.
I haven't had the chance to, besides like scorpions and shit that you get at the fucking Mexican gas stations.
Right. Like mealworms and stuff.
I don't know that I would eat a cockroach, but I also haven't been in the situation where I had the opportunity. Like I wouldn't pick up and eat a raw one.
No.
But if there's some dude that like cooked them out, I'd be like,
maybe.
After I watched 2 or 3 people eat one, I would. There's this thing in the Philippines though called balut, which is the most disgusting fucking thing that's ever been disgusted. Think of the most abhorrent shit you can.
Okay.
This is worse.
Oh.
Okay. So what you do is you take a duck egg, right? That's gonna hatch in like 2 or 3 days.
Oh.
And bury it in the dirt and you let it rot for a year, and then you eat it whole.
Like egg and all, or do you?
Yeah, no. When I said you eat it whole, you eat it whole. Like imagine like expired Jello mixed with vinegar, mixed with like bad whiskey that doesn't taste like alcohol.
Okay, I don't.
That's
like,
also rotten.
I don't like.
Yeah, no.
This at all.
Horse is good though.
What?
Horse is good. Yeah, a horse is a horse, of course.
I really haven't tried many things. I haven't. I've had fish and sushi type things. I've had octopus, but basic eels. Nothing. No horse. I didn't even have an alligator. Alligators.
How the fuck can you have an alligator? You live in Texas. It's there.
I know. I just haven't had it.
It's a little chewy, but it's good.
Yeah. I kind of am a textury person. I know many people are. I know it's not special, but I also don't like rubbery, which is why I've avoided it because I've heard it's a bit chewy.
I mean, it's not as rubbery as like octopus or squid is.
Okay. Well, then that's all right. I can handle that because the octopus was a bit chewy.
Like it's a bit chewy, but you can also bite through it at the same time. You
Oh.
have to sit there and like gnaw on it like jerky.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, okay. Maybe I'll go try some.
Although there's this thing I don't like. I want to try it just for the experience. I don't know if I'd like it or not. But there's this thing where you eat like live octopus.
No, because the suction cups, right?
Yeah, there's a famous video of like some chick eating one and the thing like grabs her and she's like trying to eat it and she's like trying to pull it away from her face at the same time, but her like skin's coming off because like the octopus is like, "You're not eating me, motherfucker!" And it's like a battle of the fucking.
Yeah, that is an intense food. Yeah, I don't know. No thanks. No.
I try it once, just say I did, but not.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd hunt it down. It'd be like opportunity knocked.
Okay. So like a friend's house, you go over and they have an octopus and they walk in and they find you eating it. That's an opportunity.
Yeah. The only like weird thing that I am going to hunt down. This is also dependent on me being an eccentric millionaire and I ran out of cool shit to do, so I gotta find like weird shit to, because nothing satisfies my tastes anymore.
Yeah.
is there's this thing they do in India where you have this like big circular table. It's got a hole in the middle of it, and they put a monkey in it, and the hole's around the monkey's neck, and then you beat the monkey's head open with a hammer, and then while it's still twitching, you eat its brain.
Oh. No.
But that's like when I have like, fuck you money, and it's like going to space is boring. Let me go eat a monkey.
Yeah, that does sound like something a very wealthy person would do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like whenever my future children marry Jeff Bezos's kid, and I get money out of it.
There you go. First thing you're gonna do, go find a monkey, go to space with the monkey. All right, what?
Well, I mean, first thing I do is probably buy a new roof, but like eating a monkey is like number 2.
Okay, all right.
Maybe build a fence.
Keep the bears out. I mean, it's kind of a deterrent, right? I mean, sort of.
Yeah, but bear is also good. So, I mean, that might be I'm gonna pay off the fines I get for shooting the bear in the backyard and eat it.
You're gonna eat everything that just like walks past you.
Why not? Dude, I seriously though need to go to bear tag because like they're out there, It's like I wouldn't have to go hunting. I just have to like wake up in the middle of the night and go pee. Just keep a rifle by the fucking window.
There you go. Got breakfast.
Yeah. So fucking to go back to the supernaturally fucking shit.
Yeah.
Vampires.
Okay.
They're like one of their like anti fucking things is like fucking silver, right?
Right.
The reason that you don't see the reason that vampires don't have a reflection is because back in the day for mirrors, what they would do is the backing of it would be like silver paint. So like that's why they didn't have a fucking reflection in them. So like nowadays they just use a fucking like synthetic fucking polymer type shit. So they would have a reflection in any mirror built after like 1920.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Do you know any vampires?
No.
You're not even suspicious.
Not really. Like I think if vampires existed, we'd have a True Blood situation by now.
Yeah. That sounds right.
And I don't even not believe in vampires. I just don't believe in vampires because if they did and all the stereotypes are true, then by default there would be a creature out there that was sexier than Alexander Skarsgård. And then like, I'm not saying God couldn't do that or allow it to happen. I'm just saying I haven't seen proof of it. So
okay.
I mean,
evidence again.
Right. It's like, okay, first off, I need to see a human being that's prettier than Alexander Skarsgård, and then I might believe in vampires because he only played one. He wasn't actually one. So
right.
If it was in real life, it'd be like leaps and bounds better looking than him. I don't see that. I just don't see that. Like fucking, I'm not a stupid person. There's a lot of bullshit that can be fed to you, and that's one of them.
Yeah. All right. That's fair.
What about you? Stalked by the creatures of the night?
No, I have a pretty happy bubble around my brain. I don't really think about the supernatural so much as I'm a bit Scully, I guess.
I couldn't tell from your writing, Mrs. Werewolf.
I know, sorry. It's to throw you off so that you're like, oh, she's one of us. And then I'm in.
Wrong!
Yeah, I don't have any huge thoughts about it. But I like hearing what other people think because there are a lot of folks gathering thoughts on aliens or vampires or, little urban legends. And I'll listen and I'll be like, very interesting. Maybe.
Yeah, could you say that again real quick? I'm going to write this down. I'm totally not going to write this in a book later. I just know what your thought. I'm saving it for posterity, all right?
Don't read anything I write from here on out. I don't know you.
No, like aliens though, like there is not a doubt in my mind that aliens exist just because of how big the universe is.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not they've been here is a completely different fucking conversation, you know.
Okay.
But like, I think it's mathematically impossible for aliens not to be somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge universe.
Yeah, and as big as the universe is, that's just what we can see.
Right.
And then I got this thing in my mind where it's like, you know, hey, the Big Bang happened here, the universe expanded out. But just because the Big Bang happened here and expanded out doesn't mean that, like, over there, another Big Bang didn't happen. That's just a completely other fucking universe.
But wouldn't it crash into our Big Bang? Wouldn't there be some kind of, like...
Not if no, because the cosmos is gigantic. It could be fucking like 14 universe sizes away when that happens, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, because you think about it, like fucking like our nearest star would take fucking what, like 200 years to get to? Not 200 years.
Other than the sun.
Yeah, besides the sun, like our closest star would take, if you can move at light speed, would still take decades to get to.
Oh.
And that's like the close one.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah,
just with the grand scale of everything.
Yeah. And what's wild to me, like, I love thinking about the size of the universe. I love thinking about the different kinds of stars. I focused a lot on it, learning about it last year, just diving in on any article I could find. And it's so vast that I think a lot in terms of what ancient cultures used to think, and then some of the more modern ones before ours. And it's just, it blows my mind how we've only just now begun to look around. It's very small. Makes me feel very small.
Yeah. Yeah. If we were to call ourselves ants, that would be a drastic overstatement.
Oh, yeah. No, it's massive.
Yeah.
I like hearing stories about black holes. They're my favorite. Like, black holes eating other black holes, that kind of thing. One just spit a black hole out. A black hole barfed up another black hole or something.
I didn't hear about that. What happened with that? How's that work?
I don't know.
Oh.
But I love that they're like, this is how they work, and then they don't work that way.
Well, have you heard about the black hole that's like in our solar system?
Yes.
Like for those listening at home, for years, decades, they thought there was another planet out there the size of Neptune that we just haven't fucking found yet, because of the way comets come in and out. There had to be some gravitational field influencing the way, you know, these comets were working. But then, like, recently, and by recently I mean like the last 2 or 3 years, like, no, there's just a black hole out there. It's probably the size like a grapefruit or a basketball, but that's got enough gravity to, you know, pull these fucking comets away from their you know projected trajectory, so they come in weird from different fucking things. And once they started calculating for a black hole being, they're like, oh no, comets make sense now.
Yeah.
Or these comets make sense now.
Right.
Yeah.
They're so heavy, the black holes. It's terrifying that the size of a grapefruit could do that kind of damage.
Yeah, it's something like which one's smaller, a tablespoon or a teaspoon? Teaspoon smaller.
Teaspoon. Yeah.
Yeah, like a teaspoon worth of the material that's made out of is like 17 million tons in weight. It's like, dude, I didn't know we were using the measurements of your mom. Ah!
Your mom.
Where'd that joke go?
I say it constantly in this house. Sometimes I say it to my kids, and it makes me laugh harder. Okay, I forgot to talk about this. That painting that you did that had all those elements in it blew my mind. I can't remember what it was called. It's very very complex.
Oh, the one with the chick getting sacrificed?
Yes.
Yeah.
I showed that video to my husband, and I was like, oh, this is so thought out. Everything, every detail. Where does this come from? I mean, you put it all in one painting.
Mm. So that one kind of had the reason it was like that was a very smart ass reason, because that was actually for an art project. And excuse me, we're at the point where it's like, if we're gonna do anything, we have to like write a pitch for it, and then say what the thing's gonna be about, and then like make a few sketches, and then that either gets a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and we go from there. And I made this like sketch, and it was just like a rifle pointed up at this like demon that's about like stab this woman. And my teacher was like, yeah, but what does this mean? I'm like, it doesn't mean anything, it just looks cool, and it needs to mean something. And I was like, oh, you want it to mean something?
Oh,
okay, we'll make it fucking mean something. And then it was, every brush stroke meant something. It was like being belligerently,
I see that now,
on point with the fucking project. Like fucking like it's like, oh, okay, you want me? I'm gonna follow the guidelines so fucking close that it's disrespectful.
Good job.
Yeah. So most of that was just telling my teacher to go fuck herself. Yeah. Dude, I just wanted to draw a gun and boobs. No, we have reasons. Okay, all right. So let's bring in the Illuminati, the Romans, the Bible. Let's put the Nazis in here because fuck it, why not? And
you're holding the gun.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
like if you notice, the hands are gloved. This could be anybody.
Anybody.
If you're looking at it, it's you. Whoever's looking at this painting is the person holding the gun.
You might want to back away. Yeah. That's intense. Was that the last straw? Was that the thing that?
That and fucking the whole like we're not going to accept the credits that we told you we were going to accept, and it's like,
big.
Actually, I graduated last year, but you're fuck you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's garbage.
Yeah.
Do you do some commissioning?
Yep. So fuck it, make it on my own. Especially since like the last year in that program is like the first half of the year is getting ready for the last half of the year, and the last half of the year is just learning how to sell yourself, and it's like I'm already doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And a magic piece of paper is going to get people to pay me more.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's what it is. And that's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But speaking of meaning and shit, fucking the moon does not make its own light, right?
No.
Like moonlight is just reflected sunlight.
Right.
Why do werewolves work? And why don't vampires get burnt up in moonlight?
There is no
werewolves in your book, so you can't cop out of this one.
All right. We got to sort it through. All right. Well, that's a faulty mythological beast, I guess.
Aren't they all faulty mythological beasts, though?
Yeah, they are. I think so.
But
there's gonna be holes.
Explain this. Come on, Nix.
Okay. So werewolves are animals at the time. People, they're people. Okay, listen. I don't have any brain anymore. It's gone.
I have the dumb.
I have the dumb. So when you tell me to create something, my brain just sits there like, no.
Like the hamster in your head's trying to put together a Rubik's Cube, and it's just not.
Yes, absolutely. That is exactly what is happening right now. I think it would have been much worse had I brought alcohol out here with me. So I avoided that, but it's still not helping my case much. Let's just say the moon is dim. It dims the sunlight, so it's not as bad as the sun.
You want to know what fucked me up about the moon?
What?
So the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, right?
Okay.
It blew a bunch of fucking shit that was like in the Earth's crust up into space. And then, when the moon moved through that cloud of fucking debris, that landed on the fucking moon.
Mm-hmm.
From the Apollo missions and the fucking moon soil they brought back dinosaur parts.
What? They did?
Yeah, that got blown into space from the fucking asteroid that killed them.
I didn't know that.
Dinosaurs got to the moon, what 30 million years before fucking we did?
Yeah. Yeah. And they died before. Yeah. Yep. They win. Dinosaurs win.
Yeah.
And they have us all fooled over here digging up their bones, thinking we're discovering them. And they've we've already been to the moon.
Yeah. And they're not even really extinct because technically birds are dinosaurs.
Yeah. Chickens.
Which just makes me think that a T-Rex would have been fucking delicious.
Yeah. We learned that maybe the T-Rex is just a scavenger.
Could be.
Yeah. They said that its lower jaw, they have this one really old dinosaur in Indianapolis that we saw. She was 37 years old, and she is the oldest living T-Rex that they've ever found. They have a hinge, snakes have on their lower jaw. Right?
Yeah.
And they think that it might be able to scoop down and out, like a motion, and bring food back in. And so they think they were very slow moving and quite chunky and not muscular at all. They were studying her bones and looking at the that the flesh was on here, and said she's actually just fat.
That snake stuff's weird too, because the way their jaws work, it would be like a fucking regular python or a boa constrictor or whatever that does unchanged jaws and eat that shit.
Yeah.
The equivalent of that for a human being would be you being able to swallow a large watermelon without breaking it. That's how fucking open their shit gets. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty intense. Doesn't quite get down though.
Well, I mean, you would have a stretchier esophagus.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Do you have any tattoos?
Yeah, no, I do. I got a few. I got well, I mean, it's not an eagle, globe, and anchor, but it's an eagle and a globe and an anchor on one end, on the shoulder, and then I have a battle cross on the other, which is like the boots with a rifle and a helmet on it.
Nice.
And it's got roses around it, and then I have one that it looks like a heart, but it also looks like a set of lips. And it's got a cigarette hanging out, and then an arrow through it.
Oh.
And then on my back, I have this Japanese demon playing guitar because why the fuck not?
Which is your most recent one?
The Japanese demon playing guitar, and it's shitty. It's a bad tattoo.
Oh.
But I got it in Japan, so it's kind of like, hey, I got a tattoo in Japan. That sucks. I got it in Japan.
I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, that's awesome. Yeah.
You're pretty tatted up though.
Yeah. We like tattoos in this house. We do like them. I only go big. That's what I do. I don't get little ones. Well, this is my first one. It's a passage in the Bible.
Which one?
Romans 6:1-14.
Which says?
I started to memorize it again recently. But
well, you get it tattooed, you should know it.
I know. Well, you know what it was, though? I picked it randomly because I was like, I need a tattoo. I'm out of my house. I'm going to go get one. So I did, and it didn't have meaning to me. And I memorized it, but then it's my least favorite. But I went back and read it. It talks about how basically we're free and we don't have to live in slavery anymore. So I was like, oh, that's good. That's a good summary.
I wonder how many people have done something similar, but the verse they picked was something from Leviticus, where it's and this person begot this person, and this person begot this person. Okay, so you got a genealogy of some Jewish dudes 4,000 years ago. Okay, gotcha, buddy.
Weird. I bet they'd be real uncomfortable if you showed that to them. Yeah, and then my second one, I got a back piece. I designed it as a sea star. It has seagrass around it, and it said, it's another, listen, I'm a super big Christian, so there's more Christian stuff happening here. It says, whom have I in heaven but you, and besides you, I desire nothing on earth. Which is true. And then I got this one, and I got it right after my husband had an affair, and I was like, I hate your guts right now, and I want to go.
What's the tattoo say then? What is the tattoo response to that?
Yeah.
They're like Seal Green lyrics, like.
Yeah, no, it was for me. It was like, I don't really okay, I lash out. I'm physical. I'm very violent, but like, I just wanted to find stability. So I was like, it's actually from Ecclesiastes 3:11, which says, God makes all things beautiful in its time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just is beautiful, and it has a poppy, which represents rest, the Star of Bethlehem, which is hope for the future. And that was pretty much it.
Speaking of Ecclesiastes, when I was in Afghanistan, fucking on my helmet, I don't remember what verses they were. I know one was Ecclesiastes, the other one was Romans, but I don't remember what fucking verses they were, like numbers wise. But one of them was, death is the destiny of all men, and the living should take that to heart. And the other one was, there'll be no more crying or sorrow or tears or pain, for the old order of things have passed away. You're like, what does that mean? It's like, we're gonna die. What is the
That's good. I think that's one of the reasons why I really love the Bible, is because it has a lot of like really morose things in it. Like, you can find it. There's a lot, like my favorite passage when I was young was about when this guy was trying to sneak in to assassinate someone, and he was a Benjamite. So that meant usually they were left-handed, but this one, or no, they're right-handed, but he was left-handed. And so they checked him for his sword. They're like, oh, you don't have a sword. And so he got in with it being on his left side. Then he goes into this guy who's pooping, sitting in his poop, and stabs him. And while he's on the toilet, and then he can't get his stomach or out of his stomach because the guy on the toilet was so fat.
Yeah, and like his gut absorbed the sword.
Yeah, and his guts like came out, all of it. Yeah.
Even there's like a lot of like real trick questions in that too, though, because people are like, what's your favorite part of the Bible? When Jesus comes back and kills everybody, and they're like, that's not in the Bible. No.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Like straight up like Terminator. Like, he's half man, half God, half machine. Yeah, I know it's 3 halves, but we're talking about Christ here, all right? Fucking, he's riding a motorcycle made out of fire and razor blades. He's shooting lasers out of his eyes. He's got a flaming sword, and he's covered in tattoos. Like, it doesn't say tattoo, but it says written on his leg is whatever.
Yeah, his thighs are covered in tattoos, really.
Yeah. So the dude's got fucking like leg sleeves, and then he comes back and kills everybody. It's in the Bible. Check it out.
Yeah, it's true. No, there's a whole lot in there. If you look at it all, it's not just one thing or another.
Yeah.
And then this one says love is war on it.
And it's got like a heart with like leaves around it.
Yeah.
But it's like an anatomically correct heart, so it's got arteries and stuff.
Yeah. And the fat. My tattoo artist, he was like, do you want me to do the fatty part? And I was like, yeah. Do the real heart.
Yeah, I'm going to eat a cheeseburger after this. Absolutely.
The sternum hurts so bad.
Yeah, I don't have anything. The shoulder blade's weird though, because like it hurts really bad while the needle's in your skin, but as soon as he takes his arm away, like there's no residual pain.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. I know, it is weird. Different layers, like muscle, bone, fat, tendon. There's a whole lot happening in the back.
Yeah. There's a tattoo I want to get. I'm gonna wait a bit for it though, because I want to make sure this art thing pans off, and I don't have to get like a job.
Mm-hmm.
Because like say what you want, fucking tattoos do fucking affect your higher ability. But like once I'm confident in the whole like I'm never gonna have to have like a job or be judged off this again, I want to get that painting of Michael stabbing the devil with a spear.
Oh yeah.
But I want to get the devil like on my knuckles and on my hand. So I'm gonna make it look like to where like if I'm wearing long sleeves, it just looks like I have a tattoo of Satan on my hand. You're like, what the fuck is that about? Pull up my sleeve and it's like, oh no, it's not getting stabbed to death, but I want it to come all the way up my fucking arm.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Do it after
Well, the other thing though is like I forget that I have fucking most of my tattoos half the time. Because like right now, like fucking if I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt, like you can kind of see one of them. The rest of them are covered up. So Like it's like maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks to get out of the shower. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot that was there.
Yeah, exactly. The one on my back, I forget. I have it all the time, and I can't get sunscreen on it, so it's very faded. And I'm just like, you're done. I just have to get a cover up sometime.
Yeah, fucking. I have a buddy. He has one tattoo. And he got it done in one sitting, and it goes from the bottom of his neck to his ass, and it's like a phoenix, brightly fucking colored and everything. Like fucking, it's one of those things where it's like bullshit. You did not get that in one sitting, but then he has other friends who are like, I don't know, I was there for it. It took fucking 14 hours. Just like,
oh my god,
like, dude, stop.
I can't go past 3 hours. That's my limit now.
I don't think I have anything bigger than my hand. So, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
on that, we're coming up on our time limit. I want to thank you very much for fucking being here. We'll have to do it again. I did a thing maybe a month or two ago where I had a bunch of fucking authors on, like all at once. There's like 4 of us, but we're gonna have to get you in on the next one of those that we do.
Oh yeah, Michelle was on that.
Yeah, it was Michelle, Damian Larkin, and Tam DeRutter. And I only fucking forget her name because she's got a weird screen name. It's like not tamales with too many S's, but it's like her name abbreviated, and I just think of tamales when I fucking read her screen name. That's not her name. Her name's Tam DeRutter. Yeah, no, like, and I was talking to Mike Salt a week or two ago, and he was saying he wanted to do one of those. So
that sounds fun.
I do need to coordinate another fucking like mass author fucking rampage.
Do it.
But yes, fucking, we're coming up on the fucking thing. Fucking, thank you for being here. We're gonna have to do it again. And before you go, can you tell the people where they can find you?
You can find me on Instagram, and that's about it. And it's the Nix Damon. You can find Moira on Amazon by Nix Damon. I keep meaning to do a website, but I guess I don't care enough. I don't know.
Fair enough. Well, on that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for fucking tuning in again, and we'll see you on the next episode of Trips.